Hey there, this is Sober Steve Truesdell. I'm a recovering alcoholic. For those of you that have followed my channel, I told you I was taking a field trip with my brother Brian. There's my brother Brian.
Hi.
We're in the Big South Fork area in Tennessee. It's my favorite camping area. Came down here for a few days and you know, just reflecting again how awesome life can be. We're not there yet. Okay, we're still on our hike. This is a farm. Oh, got caught on a branch there. Almost had a wardrobe malfunction. So this is a an old farm that's in the middle of the woods basically, and it's pretty cool that we always frequent on the middle of the hike, like the original house that they lived in, and an old hay barn, and it's kind of a cool area. But it's just a beautiful day. I just wanted to show you the nature again. There's Brian again, and just really cool. And again, not to beat the dead horse, but there's a horse. But when I was drinking, no way. I would want to. Do you even remember? Could you picture me hiking when I was drinking? No.
The only thing that I remember doing is fishing.
Yes.
And that involved a lot of drinking.
Because fishing, you can sit and drink. Yeah. And on a side note, I don't even like fishing anymore. And it turned out that is why I liked fishing. So anyway, we're going to continue our hike. So we're in this farm and we got a rain delay. It just started pouring, and it was really good timing because we're in this hayloft with a tin roof. So dry we stay, but it's raining pretty hard. But this place is so cool. And again, we're like almost 3 miles in, haven't seen one other person. And I love this place. This is our second rain delay. So come out here hiking a lot, and usually the weather is really good, and I feel bad because it's Brian's first trip. Sorry, Brian. And we've been caught in 2 thunderstorms, and luckily we found this little notch out. There's no bear in there or anything, so we came here and got out of it for a little bit, but we got about 2 more miles to walk. But it's awesome, you know. It's a beautiful day. We both have, you know, vacation day, and you know, nowhere I'd rather be. All right, well, we're about a half mile from the end of the trail. How you doing, Bri?
Doing great.
So, 2 rain delays, 2 thunderstorms. It was crazy, but it's slowed down now. A little peak of sunshine, and still sober. All right. Hey there, this is Sober Steve. My name is Steve Truesdell, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my brother Brian, and we are in Big South Fork in Oneida, Tennessee, camping. And I had mentioned on my last video that I was going to do another field trip video with my brother, and we went on a super cool hike this morning, and it's like a 6-mile hike, and we got caught in 2 thunderstorms. It was pretty crazy. It was a lot of fun, and now all of a sudden it's sunny. So thanks for agreeing to do the interview with me.
No problem. I like your videos, and thanks for setting up this great camping trip.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for going with me. This is awesome. Brian hasn't been camping in like 20 years, and he's used to staying in plush hotels, and this is kind of a big change, so I appreciate him doing that. But he loves the woods and hiking and stuff like that. So as I had mentioned before. Like Brian doesn't really drink, so he's beyond being one of the closest people in my life and my brother. It's he's a good person for me to spend time with, not only because of the way that he lives his life and carries himself, but he's not a drinker, and so I don't have that pressure, and I appreciate that. So. To be quite frank with you, we recorded this video a few minutes ago, and I had a new microphone, and it didn't work, and so this is our take 2. So Brian's nice enough to do this twice.
Yep, yeah, we rehearsed, we had a practice run, it's great.
We couldn't
and then second time we remembered the sound check. So
that's right.
It's going to be great.
So we couldn't do the silent version. But anyway, the reason, that I want to do this, I just think it's, as I mentioned before, it's interesting because I do think alcoholism is a family disease. And, looking back to when I was a kid and I started drinking very early on, and Brian's about 2.5, 3 years younger than me. And, I mentioned I started drinking when, regularly, really by the time I was 14. But I drank regularly through high school and stuff. And I guess I just wanted to get his take and opinion on, number one, just going back, like if he remembers what it was like when I was drinking. Did he know that I drank too much? What his recollection was, what effect it maybe had on him, and start there. So if you want to address that, like, do you have much recollection?
Yeah, I have a pretty good recollection, I think, at least for parts of it. So, I mean, it definitely impacted, I think, our whole family. And I feel like that was something that was an impact for me too, of course. We always got along well, so I always appreciated that. I think you always treated me really well, so there weren't any issues like that. I felt like, between us as individuals, everything was cool most of the time. But it was a big impact on the family. Just the controversy and, the worrying and times when you would get in trouble and stuff. It was disturbing, and I think it just took up a lot of the energy of the family.
Do you remember just the fact that you pointed that out, like when I got in trouble? Do you remember? Because I know siblings sometimes, like especially with Lisa, I'll remember sometimes if she got in trouble, I was glad she got in trouble, and then sometimes if she got in trouble, I felt bad for her. I didn't want her to be in trouble. It just depended. Like if I was in trouble for drinking, did you feel bad for me? Do you remember? Or were you mad at me? Or did you feel bad for mom and dad? Do you remember?
I think it was both.
Okay.
I did feel bad for you, but then there were other times when I was probably glad that you got called out, for what you were doing, and held responsible. So probably a little bit of both.
Did you know? Even when we were, like, I was a freshman, or I was a senior when you were a freshman. When you were in middle school or when you were a freshman and I was drinking a lot, did you truly know at that time, like, my brother's an alcoholic?
I have to say that, like, I knew that you drank a lot and what was too much in my mind, but I never really put that label on you. I never thought my brother's an alcoholic.
Okay.
Like I never defined it like that, but I always knew that you drank, much too much. And probably when we got older, when we were adults, then I probably would have said that you were an alcoholic.
Okay, fair enough. Do you remember? So like I had said before, like, do you remember, like, our grandpa Martinson? He drank too much. Do you remember?
Yes.
Do you remember anybody else in our family that you thought maybe drank too much or had an alcohol problem?
No.
No, me neither.
Nope, that would be it.
I was just curious. That was the first time I ever asked him that live on
never
video.
talked about that one,
Yeah, it's just,
No.
I think because I do think so much of this disease is hereditary, and I think I got it from my mom's dad, and I have a lot of characteristics that are like him, and so I think genetically that's where it came from. So, but you never had the urge to drink a lot, or when you tried it, you didn't really enjoy it even, right?
That's true, yeah. So, when I tried it, I didn't like it, and for some reason, I've just never really wanted it or enjoyed it that much. And I know you've wondered before if maybe because you were drinking a lot, that was one of the reasons why I didn't And I never consciously made that decision, but I feel like maybe subconsciously that could have been part of it, because I didn't like it when you were drunk. So I may have seen that and thought, just kind of like made a negative connotation to the whole thing for me.
Yeah. I had said this before too, but like I really try as a recovering alcoholic, I try not to dwell on the past and go back, and that's so long ago, right? Just because we're talking about it, it just makes me think, and it not only, I mean, I guess I feel a little bit bad that, even though I had so many good times, like I missed out on some real stuff, you know what I mean? Because I was such a blur, but I feel badly that, that I affected the family the way that I did at that time through my disease, but it truly, I didn't have any control over it, and so, but I am sorry if that negatively affected your growing up in any way or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I feel like every family has, there's not a perfect family out there, and
Right.
everybody has some challenges like that. So.
yeah, but it blows my mind. Like we're very close. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
And we're pretty close in age, and I'm a complete alcoholic from day one, and you didn't even really like it. That just shows me that it's a predisposition in many ways. I mean, I was born to love it. I had that gene, and you didn't. So
Exactly.
it's the luck of the draw sometimes.
There was something about it that you immediately liked,
Yeah.
and something about it that I immediately didn't like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I immediately liked, by the way. And I have a friend that actually asked me, and I'm going to do this on my other story. It's like why I wanted to drink. But and there were a lot of reasons, but from the very beginning, I love that feeling of being buzzed. I love that it just let all my inhibitions out or whatever. And I can just, I felt like it made me into who I wanted to be, who I wasn't really. But now when I look back, it actually made me into kind of an asshole, and I didn't want to be that. So anyway, it's just kind of weird as you get older. So when I graduated high school and I was out in college and stuff, and you still saw, like, I know there were times, I mean, you may not even remember all of them, but like I remember one time in particular when I was going to Eastern, and you and my girlfriend at the time and mom and dad, we're all going to go to a nice restaurant, Hobbs in Ipsy. There's only one nice restaurant in Ipsy. It was Hobbs. And I mean, it was going to be a nice family time and stuff. And I remember I went to the bar with a fraternity brother right after class. And he made me this thing called the infamous purple thing, and it basically just dumped every kind of liquor into this thing. And I resisted for like 1 second. I'm like, no, I have a family thing tonight, and I got so drunk. And you guys came to pick me up, and I was throwing up. I was passed out in the bathroom in the dorm, and Mom was so mad at me. And you guys went out to dinner without me, which was the right thing to do. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I mean, I forgot about it until just now when you brought it up. But now I do remember that. Yeah, that was a horrible day.
Yeah, those kinds of things happen to me all the time. And those who knew my mom, a lot of people say this about their mom, but she was the sweetest lady, right? I mean, she didn't have like a mean bone in her body. And I managed to piss her off so bad. She wouldn't, like, I remember I called her the next day and she just hung up on me, and she wouldn't talk to me for like 2 weeks. She was so mad at me. And so I caused that kind of drama in the family all the time. It was always the drama that I caused. And so, God, I'm glad that I don't have to do that anymore. And, I went through college and it was just nonstop. And we had events like that happen all the time. And then, I got out of college and we were young adults, and I was about 30 when I turned myself in and said, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go to rehab. And I remember I told Kim, who's my ex-wife, I told my parents, and then I asked you and my sister Lisa if you guys would meet me over at Lisa's, and I had something important to tell you. And I was so nervous. And I remember I cried on the way there, and I was just petrified to admit to you guys that I was an alcoholic. Like it was going to be a shock to you. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be blown away when they hear that their brother's an alcoholic. And I laugh because it's so asinine. It's like if anybody didn't really if anybody was surprised by the time I said that I had that, I think the surprising part was that I was actually turning myself in and going to try to quit. But do you remember that day?
Yeah, I remember it a little bit, and it's pretty much just like you said. I was a little nervous when you called us together because I had no idea what you were going to say when you called this family meeting or whatever, and then you said that you were an alcoholic, and like you said, we were probably all thinking like, yeah, was that the big news that you had to come out with? But I was surprised that you were saying that you were ready to be done with it, that you were going to go into that program, and obviously we were all really happy about that.
Thank you. And I want to say something because Brian is, I'm not just saying this because he's on the video right now. If people that know me would back this up, that I say this all the time. He's probably the most solid, kindest human being there is. I mean, he's very loving. He's very caring. He's very calm about things, and he's very fair, and he's not judgmental. He doesn't have to me, like a judgmental bone in his body, and so he's a very good person to hang around, and I cherish our time together and stuff like that. But you had said something to me on the way down here that I think you had alluded to, you're sorry you didn't really do much to support me, you thought. And I thought about it last night when those freaking, what are those bugs that are chirping all night?
Oh, the
locusts or whatever. And I couldn't sleep. I started thinking about that. And I was like, it's not your job. Like, that's the thing. Like, pick the winners. You want to hang around people that are good for you, that aren't going to try to talk you into drinking. You want to talk, people that are healthy, mentally healthy. They're not going to drag you into drama. But if I'm lucky, right? Because I had a very supportive family, great parents, great siblings, but that's not their job. Like, they didn't, as supportive as they were, they didn't do much to help me in recovery, quite frankly. They didn't really do anything other than hug me, tell me they love me, and they're proud of me, and that's it. But they don't know how to do that. That's not their job. Like, that's why you have to go to AA. That's why you have to go to recovery, because those are the people that help you, because they know Brian doesn't know how to get freaking clean. He doesn't even like drinking. You know what I mean? How's he gonna help me? So I think the important thing I want people to know is that family members, it's not your job. And alcoholics, you don't have to have a great family to help get you sober. All you need is a desire to want to quit drinking, and then go do it, because you'll never regret it. This, I said before when we were hiking, but like, this is, every time I do something like this, I'm grateful, because imagine if I was still drinking, he probably wouldn't have come. But
we probably wouldn't be here.
If he did, it would be so different.
It would be.
The whole time I would be thinking about, what am I going to drink tonight? When are we going to drink? We're going to go to the bar. Want to go to the bar and do that? Let's go to the bar. Mm-hmm. It would suck for you.
Yeah. And
it would suck for me. So I'm jumping around, but those were just some of my thoughts. And you had said something else earlier. What was that? It resonated. I want to make sure that you brought up, because when I was drinking, I was always in trouble, and you had to see all of that. But it also, I think you said something like, I got a lot of positive feedback from
you. Did, yeah. So I felt like, I think what you said was true, and looking back on what I know now, I shouldn't feel that bad that I didn't try to make you quit, because I know that it wouldn't have worked. Like, if you weren't ready, nothing I could have said or done would have been able to force you to do that. And then I was a little younger than you, and I always saw that I felt like you did get a lot of positive reinforcement for not necessarily straight up, the drinking, but just that whole persona that you had. Because you were the life of the party, and I feel like people took it in a lighthearted way all the time.
Yeah.
And they, there was a lot of positive reinforcement, and then that also made me think, like, who am I to say, maybe the way he's doing it is good, maybe I should be more like that, because I felt that way sometimes, that people looked at us that way.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and I think that all goes to the point of people really misunderstanding the disease, and it's like, And I still have. I could do an hour-long video of just hilarious things that happened to me when I was drunk. And they, you know what, they are hilarious, and I lived through them, thank God. But sometimes those hilarious stories end in a car accident or a death, or you know what I mean. And so it's funny now just because I made it through and I survived. But like I did get a lot of I don't know, attention, you know, and attaboys and stuff like that from telling those funny stories and doing that. Like you know, you can't put a price on a good time, and like that whole thing. And that's where I talk about, if you're a family member or a friend, do not enable the alcoholic. Like people that always say, you know, hey, my cousin's an alcoholic, how can I help them? The number one thing you can do is be honest with them that you believe they have a problem. And the number two thing you can do is stop drinking with them. Don't ever drink with them, because then what are you doing? You know what I mean? You're saying you have a problem, but here, let's drink together. You don't ever do that. And the one other final thing I wanted to ask you that I had asked earlier was, from your perspective, if somebody has somebody they love that has a problem, you know, what do you think they should do?
Well, I think what I said earlier is important to keep in mind, that you can support them, but you may not be able to talk them into doing something that they don't want to do. And the place to start probably is just to try to have healthy habits yourself, and think about your relationship with them and make sure that it's healthy, that you're conducting yourself the way that you think you should. And you know, if you have a good time, to bring it up, and like you said, like don't ignore it, acknowledge it, and certainly let them know that you care about them and that you'd really like them to do something about it. That's probably how I would approach it now, knowing what I know, but also just having that expectation that it's going to be on them, and they're the ones that are ultimately going to have to fix it.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, because I was a little bit younger when I did it. I mean, what, you were 27 or something, but if I was still an alcoholic, you know, I mean, I'm an alcoholic, but if I wasn't recovering, if I was drinking, you can bet the drama would have escalated even more.
Yeah.
You would probably have to distance yourself from me, honestly, a little bit.
I probably would. You're right.
Yeah, because you can't, if you're a family member, you only get one life. It's not, you don't deserve to have your life affected in a way where you're unhappy and it's causing you unhappiness because you have a loved one that's an alcoholic. All you can do is bring it to their attention and try to help, and then it's on them, you know, and that's the reality. And that's why family members aren't always the best ones to help the alcoholic, because there's a lot of problems on both sides, and you need somebody independently to address those. So I think that, is there anything that you can think of that we forgot on our take two that was pertinent?
No, I don't think so.
I hope the mic works,
got it.
or else
Yeah,
we're gonna have
hopefully
to.
it works.
If it does, it's a private. We're just putting it up
Just do it
silent
again.
movie. But we're gonna. It's supposed to rain the next couple of days again, and now it got sunny, so we're gonna go enjoy the area. And we got a couple more days, and I'm grateful for that. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll be back at you soon, Bri. Thanks a lot for agreeing to sit down and do the video here.
All right, my pleasure.
Buddy. All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Stop it.
Take two.
It's a good thing we're not live.
It won't stop. Clicker's not working. I hope it doesn't.
I don't hate it.
So, because it's raining at the campground, we decided to go to the Smoky Mountains. Brian's driving the old Jeepster, and we went up to the Klingman's Dome, tallest point east of the Mississippi in the United States of America. And pretty good day. We haven't had any rain after we left, so I can do a rooftop video.